Well, welcome to the Lockdown Tactics podcast. This week, Snoddy's not told me who the guest is. He's kept it a secret because he said it's one of his heroes. So I'm going to pass it over to you. Robert, what have you come up for us this week?
Boydy, the greatest ever. I was 10-year-old when this legend signed. One of the best, the best that's ever graced Parkhead for me. Being a kid watching him, it was an inspiration to all strikers, inspiring to play the game. No other than the king of kings, the greatest, HENRIK Larsson.
Thank you. Nice
Hi,
words. Hi. All right, guys?
You must have paid him to say that, HENRIK.
Yeah, of course. I always pay people to say nice things about me. So that's no
HENRIK, listen, brilliant to have you on the show. It's great for you to give up your time first and foremost. But if I get a bit excited, just stop me, because as I said there, it's I was 9-10 growing up watching Celtic. I stayed right beside Celtic Park, and you obviously signed, and then the rest is history. But we'll just get right into it, HENRIK. Who inspired you, and who was your hero as such growing up? We were talking about heroes. Who inspired you to play the beautiful game?
Who inspired me? I mean, it has to be my dad in the beginning, because he was so interested in football. So whenever there was football on television, we watched it. In those days, you couldn't watch that much football as nowadays. I mean, you were talking about maybe a game on the Saturday and maybe the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the big European Cups. So I have to say my father. But then, later on, when I got a little bit more into the football, and I saw a videotape of Pele, which was my biggest idol when I was young. I have to say him, the way he played the game. I tried to play it in a similar fashion. He was a team player, and didn't really matter to him if he scored or he made an assist. It was a good thing either or. So I have to say him in from around when I was 10, 12 years, I started looking up videos, because that was new in the market as well back in the days. That's how old I am. So I have to say Pele and my father was the biggest inspirations.
Do you feel as if, your son Jordan, you say there about your father being your hero to start off with, do you feel as if he's in a level of that just now where he would watch his dad, or does he get something completely different where he likes to be his own man and focus on his own style?
No, but he doesn't look so much at me. I mean, he was a young boy when we lived in Scotland. So he used to come to all the games. So he's seen me playing wherever I've been playing, except in Holland. So I think he's seen a fair share of my games. And I think that's part of the reason why he loves the football so much as he does today. So, but I think that he looks at other players today. I mean, like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and even the big guy from Sweden, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So it's much easier today to follow and see new players than it was back in my days. So he's trying to do his own thing. He and I say, I mean, he shouldn't be compared to me. He has his own way of playing, how he wants to play the game, and we just have to wait and see what's coming out of that. I mean, the way he started his professional career, it's for me, being the dad but still looking in a critical way, he's done all right. I mean, it's not easy continuously being compared with your father, and he still managed to take himself all the way to Spartak Moscow, where he is today, where he's doing well. I know there's much more in him, but when I watch him play, I'm proud, because I think he's got good ethics in the way how I feel you should play the game. So, and I hope that he will score a little bit more goals or make a few more assists, because end of the day, that's how you're being judged as a striker. But for me, there's no doubt that he can play football, and I'm very proud of that.
Is it true, HENRIK? Is there some relation to you've named him after Michael Jordan? Is there any truth in that? Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we lived in Holland when Jordan was born, and obviously Michael Jordan was active playing his basketball, and yeah, you could see a little bit, but it was late nights and it wasn't always recommended because you have to go up early the next day to train. But some of the games I watched and some I didn't watch. But for me, it was the most important thing was when he done his comeback, and people didn't really believe that he could do it, that he wasn't able to do it. But that just shows the measure of the great man Michael Jordan. I mean, whenever somebody said it wasn't possible, he proved everybody wrong. And I think that part of the reason is just the character of the man. And I felt that, if we would get a boy, that would be a great name. And and I'm very proud that he has that name, because the thing he done, the way he done it during the different circumstances, I think it's great, and it's the best basketball player ever in my view, and it's not bad to have the similar name as him, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it came back to the forefront when it was, The Last Dance was on Netflix there as well, Henrik. Inspirational stuff. Did you, you obviously followed it closely when you were young. Was there anything you took from Michael Jordan back in the day, and then, watching that programme again? It was unbelievable, the programme.
Oh, it was a great. I mean, I couldn't wait. Once I saw one episode, I just wanted to get. It was released here on the Mondays. I don't know for you guys, but I woke up early in the morning that day and just went down and watched it. So it's a great documentary, and it's just how you say it in English. I mean, when I'm watching him talk today, and it just confirms the picture I had of him when he played. I mean, you both know as well. I mean, when you play, you have to be in your bubble, or at least I had to. And it seems like Michael Jordan was definitely in his bubble. And I mean, whenever you went out there on the pitch, or in his case, the court, you just want to win. And it doesn't really matter how you win. You're willing to do anything in order to get that win. And I think that's something you need as a top athlete in order to achieve your goals.
See, on that, Henrik, I mean, you obviously played with some unbelievable players throughout your career. Did you see different mindsets, from Celtic to Barcelona to Manchester? Did you see different mindsets within, the players?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's different way how we handle the pressure and everything. And I mean, if I compare myself how I needed to be in my bubble when in terms of preparations for the game, and for practice and everything, in order to be able to do it as good as possible, as good as I could do it. And then I take a different mindset, like Ronaldinho. I mean, he was laughing all the time. He came in the morning with a big smile, if it was practice or it was the game day. I mean, that's the way he handled the pressure. I think we have all different ways to handle that pressure, because, as you know, it's big pressure, and continuously deliver on the pitch. I mean, you have to do it week in, week out, and sometimes even twice a week. So, I mean, the way he handled the pressure, by just being happy all the time, and I couldn't do it, because I tried to do that earlier in my career. But for me, it was, I needed to know what to do in order to get things set in place in order to be able to deliver.
Well, we'll come to Ronaldinho and your Barcelona career a little later in the show. But how thrilled are you as a father? Because a lot of the things in terms of the podcast, it's real life stuff as well. How thrilled are you as a father that Jordan has managed to he's carved out a career for himself in football, and it's not been always, it's Henrik Larsson's son. He's actually making a name for himself.
Oh, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I mean, it's not easy. I think it's tougher for him than a lot of other players, because since he was a young boy. He's be compared to his dad, and then when the media comes into the picture, when you play in the highest division in Sweden, or you go to Holland, or now in Russia, because I had a decent career, people's going to compare him towards me, and I don't think it's fair, because if I look what he achieved, he's 23 at the time. Now, last week it was his birthday. If you compare his career so far to where I was at the age of 23, he beat me by miles. I mean, I wasn't even. I was just moving to Holland, I think, and at 22, and then I played the World Cup at 23. But so far, the only thing he's missed out on is that he hasn't been playing a World Cup yet. And I mean, he's 23 years old. It's ridiculous sometimes how people make that comparison between us two, and I get a little bit annoyed, to be honest with you, when I hear it, because I don't think it's fair. He's so much further ahead than me, and both what he achieved until the age of 23, and speed-wise, he's a lot quicker than me. I would say that his technique is better than me at that time as well. And then the other stuff he hasn't reached yet is like goal scoring, and maybe the vision of the play is not as good as mine yet. But I see things there that most likely is gonna mean that he's gonna be better than me in those two areas as well, when you compare him later on in his career.
It's so good to see speak so passionate about your kid, because the same situation, Henrik, our captain at West Ham just now, Martin Noble, his kid's in this the youths at West Ham, so he's constantly getting asked questions, and I speak about obviously this and always asking questions, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. It's like, people say they compare, and that's people on the outside, they're always going to compare, but as a father, do you try and teach them the nature of the industry more than anything growing up, and how hard it is, the pressure, or do you just want to let him feel it and make the mistakes himself, and then learn?
Of course. I mean, as a father, you always want to protect your kids from harm. But I mean, he's making mistakes, but he knows. Me and Jordan talk a lot. I mean, we talk a lot about the football, what is required from you, and what you have to do, and we've been doing that for many years, and especially once you turn professional, what is expected of you, what do you have to deliver, and things like that. And I mean, the pressure, I think Jordan knows it already. I mean, he's grown up with it, with a famous dad, and a lot of people always have opinions, and so I think he's tough. He got how do you say it? He's been having his fair share of people talking bad about different things, and so I don't think he really cared that much. Even though he's like me, a little bit soft-hearted, but he knows what is expected. He knows what he has to do, and he has tried to get on with it, and take every if it goes well, you have to be humble in that. If it goes a little bit less good, you have to work harder, and try to analyze what you have to do better next time in order to get out of the game what you want to get out of the game.
Well, guys, I'm going to leave here, because I believe now Robert will want to start talking about Celtic, Henrik. So I'll come back in 30 minutes or something, if that's okay.
We might let you in then.
I heard you talk about Rangers for long enough, so shut up, it's my time. No, listen, Henrik, he signed in 1997. He obviously stopped Rangers doing 10 in a row in 1998, and obviously times under Martin O'Neill. Just tell us, for your words, how was it then under Martin O'Neill, and how was it that time stopping them at a vital time?
No, obviously it was very important to stop them from the 10 in a row. And at the time, I didn't realize it because obviously not knowing that much when I came to Celtic about Celtic and the Scottish League and things like that. It grew on me, and I think part of the reason why we succeeded doing that was I think we were 6, 7, 8 new players coming in and didn't really understand what we went into because stopping them from winning the 10 in a row was so important, and the way we done it was exciting for everybody, and I think that for me it sunk home. I think it was the second last game of the season when we come back to Parkhead after the game against Dunfermline. A grown man comes up to me and crying and say, "You have to stop them from winning the 10 in a row." And then it hits to me really what it means to the people in Glasgow of stopping Rangers from winning the 10 in a row. So I lost the question there because I'm just talking here, but tell me that one again. What it meant. Yeah. I gave you that one. You have to...
when you go back to the start, when you first came to Celtic at first.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we were 6 or 7 new players there, or maybe 8, I don't remember. It's that long ago. And to stop them from winning 10 in a row was just a must. But we didn't realize which kind of pressure we were under. And I think that's part of the reason why we succeeded in that. And then working under Martin O'Neill, I think it was the first time since I arrived at Celtic that the boat was settling a little bit. There was a way of thinking, the way Martin O'Neill wanted to do and build the Celtic team was a little bit, how do you say it? It was better. Simply put, it was better. The players he took in, I mean, Chris Sutton, Alan Thompson, Neil Lennon, just to mention a few, was just quality players. And with quality players, you have a chance to win league titles. You have chances to win the games in Europe. And I think he steadied the ship immensely, Martin O'Neill.
Well, let's see on that, Henrik, when the players that came in, you speak about the Chris Sutton, how good a partner was he for you?
Oh, he's the best ever I had. A big guy with a lot of vision, how to play the game, and totally unselfish. Work rate very, very hard. He never stopped running, and he could score goals. So for me, it was easy to play with him because when he went up for a header and I was around, I just had to judge where to go, if I had to be in front of him or he going behind, and that's always easier when you know what your partner up front is going to do. So for me, he's the best ever I played with in the 4-4-2 system, without a doubt.
Well, Neil Lennon, he's doing a good job right now. I don't really want to say it. I'm going to pass this back over to Robert. Neil Lennon's doing a great job right now. Do you think Celtic will get... Robert, do
you think they'll get to 10 in a row this season?
I hope so. That would be nice. Lenny is doing a great job there. It wasn't easy. But I mean, I think it's going to be a tough one because I think Rangers is going to do everything in their power to stop them from winning 10 in a row. So, but I think that the quality of the players at Celtic is a little bit better than the Rangers players. And if you look back, I think when we came to Scotland, 97, the Rangers team was a little bit older, I think, than the Celtic team is at present as well. And I think that helped us a little bit because a lot of them been there for many years and we're used to winning stuff. And if you get complacent, the hungrier one is always going to get it. So I hope that we get 10 in a row. That would be great. That would be a great party as well, I hope.
Henrik, see right now, out the current crop of players, who impresses you the most? Who are you most impressed with?
I mean, there's a few I think is very, very good. But I like the center half, the big man, the French guy. What's his name? I can't remember.
Julian.
Julian. I mean, the presence he has in the team. You need to lead it from the back as well, and you need good forward players as well. But I think that the way they are set up in the defense is very good. And to be honest, I haven't watched that many games either of Celtic, and because they don't broadcast them here in Sweden, so it's tough for me to follow them. But whenever I can see and watch the results, I try to watch it. And if they play in Europa League or in Champions League, I try to watch them. I think Forest is a very good one as well. If I have to mention a more attacking player, but they have a very good side, I think.
Boydy, you strikers, I said to you, are a different breed. You love the wingers that can cross and get you the goals. It happens all the time. Every time I ask Boydy, he loves wingers that can cross it for him. He scores.
Yeah, but I bet you if you ask Henrik, he will say the exact same thing. Do you like someone that just crosses it first time, or do you like someone that needs to beat their man 3 and 4 times?
No, I mean, obviously, the first time is always easier because then you don't have to do second or third run.
Yeah, by the way, it was a good job I didn't have to do second or third run, Henrik. I would have been too tired.
do you speak about that? Because watching Celtic at that time, Alan Thompson had that to a T, where he would get it out his feet. Steve Guppy get it out his feet and just whip it, and it's so easy for a striker. And I said that to Chris, where in my earlier days I was always a like a right winger playing obviously with left foot and always trying chop and chop. And I thought strikers were looking at me with, like a snarl. They were looking at me as if they say, you're more interested in looking good. Until I actually got older, I realised that it's true that strikers just want it in. No messing about. Get it in, because I need to make 2 free runs every time you're checking. You might want to look good for the fans, but just to explain this, how important is that for any young striker that you do get a relationship with your winger and you're a strike partner?
No, but it's vital that you have a relationship. I mean, if you took Alan Thompson, I knew what he liked to do. I know he liked to shift it inside, so I never done the first run. And then once he get the second time out on his left foot, I knew I had to start my run, because then I knew it on the second or third touch out there, then the ball will get crossed in. And if you look at Didier Agathe, or you had Jackie McNamara on the right, I knew what they wanted to do. I mean, Didier Agathe just put the ball past the players and run past them and then cross it as quick as possible. Jackie was also like that. Once he got the space to cross the ball, he would cross the ball. So it was very important to make the connection there when to start the run, because sometimes, you went too early and the ball didn't arrive. But then you have to do a new run as a striker, and Chris knows that as well. But it was always easier with Didier Agathe, or I knew with Alan. I think if you look back, I think he assisted me to a lot of goals from the wing, and he had Bobby Petta as well. He was a little bit more tricky. Reggie Blinker was also a little bit more tricky, because you never knew if they would deliver the ball on the second or third touch, because it very rarely happened with them too that they send it in the first touch.
You've had, obviously it's been highly commented that you've had your opportunities to get back to Celtic. Has it ever been close as to obviously coach or manage?
No, not really close. I mean, I had a few people over here and that we discussed, but I was more interested in the plans, what the club was thinking, and what we talked about in the meeting. I won't tell you, but my ambitions didn't really at the time let me put it this way, my ambitions and the club's ambitions wasn't the same at that time.
Do you feel as if, though, that is there something there that, because you've got a special connection with them, Henrik, that, would you like to get back one day? Is it something that, or you think that door's closed, I just want to be a fan for afar?
I don't really think about it, to be honest with you, because if it will happen, it will happen. And if they want me, they have to come and ask me. Simple as that. But I think that Neil Lennon is doing a great job there, and the previous manager's been doing a great job. I don't know if I will ever come back to Celtic in a managerial way or a coaching way. I don't know. It's the club that has to ask me if they feel like I'm up good enough to be there. But time will tell.
Yep. But that's me. I'm so happy now. That's all the Celtic stuff put to. That's it, finished. 2004, Henrik, you left Celtic. You joined Barcelona, but there must have been a lot of clubs after you then. And how good was that to finally sign on the dotted line for a football club like Barcelona?
No, but I mean, as all that year, I said this would be my last year at Celtic, and I think I said I would like to go and play somewhere where it's warm. I was thinking of Spain, of course, but I never thought that Barcelona will come in for me. So I was obviously very thrilled and happy when once they done that. And I mean, at the end of that year was the European Championship in Portugal as well. So I know before the European started, I think it was something like 28 to 30 clubs that were interested in my service at the time, all the way like France, Germany, England. I think there was a few, Italy, all the countries in Europe. But I felt that I don't want to sign anything before the Euros, so I wait until after, and because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I knew that I had a lot of options. But once Barcelona came, and that was, I think it was 2 days before we're going to play Holland in the quarterfinals in the Euros. My wife calls me up and says that Barcelona wants me, and I said, well, they have to wait because I'm playing the Euros and I want to be focused on that. And my wife said, well, I don't think they're going to wait for you. So if you want to do it, I think it's better you give them an answer now. So I said, okay, I want to do it. But you have to go over and negotiate the contract, because obviously I want to focus on this and I can't go anywhere. And yeah, she did, and it was a great contract. She negotiated, so I was happy when I signed for them, because obviously growing up, and one of the few teams you could watch play was always Barcelona, with the Stoichkovs, Romario, Laudrup, and all the Koeman, all the players you had there. Was a fantastic team. So being able to sign for them was just, to be honest, even though I'd never thought it would be possible, was a dream come true.
Must be okay, Robert, to actually just say there to Barcelona, listen, wait, I've got a game I need to take care of here before I enter into discussions with you. But see on that, Henrik, you know, when you went, you know, you had people like Xavi, Deco, Iniesta, Van Bronckhorst. How good are players were they, and how good was it, you know, for you to play with them?
No, but obviously they were great players. Xavi was good, but he became even better the next few years after that. Iniesta was a young kid. Messi was just a young kid. Pujol was, what you see in games, what you see in practice. I mean, the team we had there with Edmilson, Rafa Marquez, Olegur, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, as well, Van Bommel, Samuel Eto'o, Julie, just to drop a few of them. It was just fantastic. I mean, the practice. You need
to let us. Ronaldinho, how good was he?
No, but Ronaldinho. I mean, at the time, I haven't seen any other player being able to do the things he done with the ball in practice and in the games. It was just fantastic. The way, I mean, he could score goals, but his passes was just, whenever you had to be on your toes all the time, because when you felt that now it's no chance the ball is going to come, he would find a way to get the ball to you. And I mean, he was just phenomenal. I mean, he was fantastic, and the pressure he was under, always deliver, was the way he done it was, for me, it was just fantastic, with a big smile on his face, and yeah, the goals, the free kicks, and everything was, for me, it's the best ever.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, he was, and as you say, to play with a smile on his face all the time, it just looked as if he just loved life. He loved life. But
Yeah.
he came off the bench, to win the Champions League as well against Arsenal in 2006. How special was that for you to get that Champions League winners' medal?
It was so special. Obviously, being in one big final in Seville before with Celtic and losing that wasn't a nice experience or a nice feeling. I still not really enjoy talking about it. But be able to win the final in Paris was just great, because obviously it's a dream come true, winning the biggest club medal you can win, biggest cup. Being able to do that at that time of my career was just fantastic, because I knew there wouldn't come another opportunity to do that. So I was so happy. So it was unbelievable, and I didn't even had a drink that night, because I just wanted to remember it all. I wanted it to be fresh, and I can still remember almost everything. I'm getting a little bit older as well, so some things are getting away from me, unfortunately. But it was a great night, because I felt that we deserved it, and the way we played football at the time as well. I don't think many other clubs played the way we did.
Henrik, is it true that night you were actually up for a place on the bench with Lionel Messi? Is that right? Where obviously I think he was injured and stuff. Did
you mean really... in the stand?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, I think Frank Rijkaard chose between me, because both me and Leo was getting back from injuries, but I was a little bit quicker than him to get back from the injury. So, and I think that, to be honest, Frank Rijkaard didn't want me to miss out on this as well, and I think that's he's very happy for that decision these days. But that's my own interpretation of things. But I think it wasn't 100% that I would even make the bench. That's the feeling I got when I look back at it.
See, Henrik, on that just quickly. See, everybody points to Pep Guardiola, but Frank Rijkaard had started something at Barcelona as well with the players that was there. How important or how big a role did he play in your career towards the end?
In what sense do you mean Frank Rijkaard was important to me in order to win the Champions League, or in developing me?
Well, I don't think you didn't need much more developing, that's for sure. But in terms of, like when you've got so many unbelievable players in the one camp, to keep them all happy, to get to the success that you've done with Barcelona.
Yeah, but you see as well, I mean, that team broke up a few years after. I mean, Ronaldinho went to Italy, I think it was something like that, and Eto'o went as well. There was a few players getting away from the club at the time, but obviously it was important because he steadied the ship. Barcelona had a tough time with the previous managers being there, but the quality of the players that Chicky Bergestein brought in, I think that Frank Rijkaard had something in that as well. But Chicky, that is working in City now, knew how to build a good team, a good squad. But I mean, Frank Rijkaard was important in that sense that he got the second European Cup for Barcelona, and with obviously the way Barcelona is playing with the 4-3-3 system, but mainly for being able, as you say, keeping some of the players happier than I don't think everybody was happy, to be honest with you, because I mean I wasn't happy sitting on the bench, even though I knew from the beginning I would do that, because I spoke with Frank Rijkaard before previous signing for Barcelona that I wouldn't start every game, but I felt that I was doing so good so I deserved to play. But that's a different history. But I mean, Julie didn't play every game. Etusa played most of the game, and Ronaldinho played most of the game. But we were, we were changing. Sometimes I was playing or Julie was playing, and it's tough because you have players that feel that they could play week in, week out. It's tough to keep everybody happy, of course, but I think he's done it in the way he is as a person. He's very calm, Frank Rijkaard. I mean, he never gets more. I've never seen him angry in 2 years, to be honest with you. And when you can say he was a little bit angry, maybe he didn't really raise his voice. He was more saying, boys, come on, stop. Stop doing the back heels and the flicks. If the game is 0-0, wait with those things until it's 3-0. That was how angry you would get Frank Rijkaard in those days. So, I mean, he was just, it was a calm dude. The way he looks is the way he was. And I think that was very important for that dressing room in order to be able to express themselves, which is very important as well as a player.
Henrik, see when obviously Johan Cruyff was a big part through the Barca, the style, the structure they had there. I remember speaking to Graham Hunter about this, and obviously Barcelona was massive on positional play and getting people playing behind the lines. I spoke to our assistant manager Enzo Martinelli, played with Sevilla, and he was like, you couldn't mark them. They were always behind you. Did you feel for the very off when you arrived there was a Barca way, there was a different style? Did you have to learn that structure because coming from a different club?
That's what, for me, it came in handy that I was playing in, I have to sit up a little bit more. Yeah, I was playing in Holland in 93 when I went to Feyenoord. And at that time, I didn't know how to play the 4-3-3 system. It was very difficult for me because I was used to playing as one of the two strikers and had a lot of movement in going down the channels and things like that. And in a 4-3-3 system, you don't really want to do that because you want to give more space to wide men in order for them to isolate them one against one and get past the players and start playing the ball, cutbacks, or be in behind the opponent's back four. So for me, it was a playing system where I was familiar with, which I didn't really succeed in Holland to completely. But I learned enough in order to, when I came to Barcelona, it felt natural for me. And obviously, being a few years older, it was easier to adapt to it because, I mean, we used to play with the pivote, which is the sitting defender, midfielder. You knew as a wide man, if I went in, I always could, in the pocket in between their midfield and the back four, I could always cushion the ball back in on one touch and get movement again. If I was playing as a central striker down the middle, I knew I always had two midfielders coming towards me. So either I play it to the right, I play it to the left and spin and go again, or I turn in the space there. So for me, it was so much easier when I was 33 at the time, I think, than when I was 22, 23 when I came to Holland. So I recognized the Dutch system straight away there. So for me, that's part of the reason why it was so easy for me to adapt as well.
Henrik, see, we've spoken about this in the podcast as well, and one of the philosophies that Barca, the manager that comes in, adapts to the Barcelona philosophy instead of a club adapting to a manager. Do you feel as if that's key? Obviously, you learn to be a manager and want to, inspire to be the best. Do you think that you need to fit the club, basically, Yeah,
no, but I mean, Barcelona is special, but I think that there's a few other clubs that have been taking after that. I mean, I think that whenever you get appointed to Bayern Munich job, you will you have to be able to adapt the way the club wants you to play. And I think in nowadays as well, I mean, when I think it's better for the clubs financially to have their own way of playing, how they want to play, because then you don't have to switch the squads around that much once you appoint a new coach. Because if you have a 4-4-2 system, you maybe don't need so many central defenders as you do in a 4-3-3 system. So in order for the clubs to save some money, I think it's better to make up a strategic how you want to play, or what you want to do, in which way, in order to get the results. But that's not easy. That's not something you do overnight. You have to look at that over many years. But in today's games, there's no patience. You're expected to deliver the results straight away. So that's why it's hard for the clubs to change something that would be much better, I think, in a financial way for the clubs.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's the first thing that Jurgen Klopp went and said, that give me time, basically. Give me time. It's what you don't get as a manager. So, and they've just obviously won the league. But touching on English football, you signed for Man United. How good the experience was that for you?
It was great to work under Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously, playing a lot of games in Scotland, him being Scottish, and watching Man United on television a lot. And to see the players there with Scholes, Giggsy, Rio, and all the players, the Cristiano, was a great experience. And being able to do that so late in my career was just fantastic, because for me it's a great club. The 10 weeks I had there, the way they took care of me, and both on and off the pitch, was just professional. And I'm very happy that I'd done that. And that's the only regret I had, that I didn't stay there the remainder of that season, because I'm sure that I would have got 1 year extra out of that if I would have stayed. But I had my commitments to Helsingborg, and I wanted to honor that.
You had plenty of opportunities to go and to Manchester United, even when you were at Celtic as well, Henrik. You decided to turn that down. So why was that the case? Why did you loyal to Celtic?
Loyal to Celtic, yes, but also having the experience that I had in Holland, where I wasn't really happy on the pitch. I didn't play week in, week out, which I needed to do, what I found back again at Celtic, that I knew that I was important there. But also we had a good team at the time, so for me it was no reason, because we played in the Europa League or in the Champions League. And I mean, to go down to the English Premier League to earn maybe 5,000-10,000 grand more a week, it wasn't an option for me. And Jordan wasn't that old. He was happy in Scotland. My wife was happy in Scotland. So for me, it was no reason to go down south, even though it was a great club and it was tough to say no. But I was very happy at Celtic, because I felt that we had, especially under Martin O'Neill, that we had something good coming on, and the players he brought in was fantastic players.
Henrik, you've played at the very top as a player. There's no question about it. But have you got the same ambition as a coach and a manager to do exactly the same?
I want to try to see how far I can come as a manager, or a coach, or assistant, whatever, but in football, because I love football. Football, when you can't play it anymore, the second best thing is to be still involved in it in some shape or form. So for me, it's the ambition to get out there and to be part of the big games again, the European nights, or the league title winning nights, or those things. For me, that's something I want to do. But time will tell if it's going to happen or not. I'm not in charge there. I'm trying to talk to my representatives to get me something I want to do. I got a few options, but I don't feel that those are the right ones, and not for me, and not for the family. So just have to wait and see. I have to be patient in this, and I think during the circumstances now as well with COVID, I think it's difficult for all the clubs in a financial way as well. What they're going to do, how they're going to plan for the future. It's difficult because they don't really know how it's going to be.
The podcast, Henrik, is, we do touch a little bit on mental health and how much it means to Chris and his family. Is the reason why we started the podcast in the first place, by getting on top sports stars to try and tell us about their careers. And we believed, and you said there that you were settled at Celtic, and you obviously tried different journeys, but has ever been a stage without obviously your journey and your career that you have had a touch of challenging the mind and dig deep to get through it or speak to people?
No, I mean, I would say a lot of times that you feel that you're uncertain of yourself, things are not maybe going as well as you want, or there are things that happens that you're not control of. I mean, I had during my time in Scotland, I had a brother that was on drugs, and knowing the things I knew and about him, and having to go out and perform week in, week out, it wasn't easy. I mean, he taking at the end overdose on drugs, and I mean the pressure my parents felt about that, the worrying they had every night, and me as well sometimes. It's not easy, so it's important that I talked a lot with, I still talk to this day with my wife about the things that maybe I didn't want to talk about with other people, because I think it's important to share how you feel in order to somebody being able to help you. And if that's being professional, which I've done afterwards, after my brother died and passed away, I had a period where I wasn't feeling very good, because I had a lot of questions, and my wife said to me, well, you need to go and talk to somebody in order to straighten a few things out. And I'd done that. I went to a professional, talked with her about the different things, and I felt so much better after that. And I think it's important that, and I think it's good that a lot of people talk about these mental ill things nowadays, because I think it's nothing you have to be ashamed of. I think it's important to share, and it's just a question of finding somebody that you can share it with, if that's your wife, or is professional, or is your husband, or it's your boyfriend, or whatever it is. But I think it's important to know that you can be as strong as you like, but you need to share some things with different people in order to get an input. And if that means that you're going to cry, crying is not bad. I think that if you cry, afterwards you feel relieved, even though it's tough things that you're talking about. I think it's important that you try to get it off your chest, because you can be as strong as you want, but if you can't share things with people, then it's going to be difficult, because you have to. What I'm trying to say is just that try to open up. It's important, and then you have to find somebody that you feel that you can trust with your the things you want to talk about. And I would recommend a professional, obviously, because that helped me a lot when I went talking after my brother's death.
See, when you say that, Henrik, I mean, I've never spoke to anyone after I lost my brother, and it's sometimes always in the back of my mind, maybe to go and actually to do it and try and get, some, I want to say comfort, but to try and help you along with the process. And I think it's something that never leaves you. You learn to deal with the loss of a loved one. You just learn to deal with it every day. It can be very, very difficult. For me, to you, what message would you have for anyone from Henrik Larsson to the world out there, what message would you have to people out there who are struggling with mental health?
Yeah, I would say again, talk to somebody. And if you can't afford to go to a professional, you have to go to somebody, because you need to share it. You need to talk, because whenever you're in a bad way, when you don't feel there's an way out, just by talking to somebody could put it in a different light of day, you say in English, I think. And that's so important, because once you're down there, you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel at all. So, but just to open up and just say something, because otherwise we don't have a chance to help you, to rescue you. I think that's the important thing, to talk to somebody, and somebody that you know, or I don't know, but you have to talk. You have to open up, because that's the only way to for us that wants to help you and doesn't know. Because I mean, on the outside you can look as tough as you want, but you can feel in a different way inside. So sometimes, or you have to talk to somebody and open up in order to be able to be rescued, because otherwise the ones that are left behind feel guilty about things. What could I have done? Could I have been a better listener? Could I have done this? There's so many questions, and you just want to help people. And talk to somebody would be my message, I think.
Brilliant.
And I think you should talk to somebody as well, because it's important.
For me, a lot of I found myself asking questions to the psychologists and that we use through the Chris Boyd charity, and probably probing them, asking it in a different way. And it was maybe me trying to find comfort myself. And I was asking, someone has phoned asking this question. Maybe I should actually just go and sit down and speak with someone and try to get, because you're right, you always look back and say, what could I have done? Could I have done more? Could I have helped more? And I think the message that you say there, in terms of being able to be open and speak, you don't know exactly what's going on. And I think that is the most important thing, that when someone is suffering, please speak to someone, because it's the only way that you can get better, when you go and speak to them and actually, actively seek help.
Boydy, see the Henry, I don't know if obviously you've seen it, but like everybody's, speaking about it now, is since lockdown, there's been 200% rise in suicides. It's incredible. And the amount of people, Henry, on this, that I've got in touch with this podcast, just to say, just speaking those words there, they're the fans of Henrik Larsson or Chris Boyd or Robert Snodgrass. It's like, it touches so many people in a way to say, what inspires me? If he can do it, then I can go and do it, So small words, just listening to our heroes, is enough, because that gets people up. And it might be that after this, that Boydie might speak about it. So this is the reason why we set about this in the podcast, that it means so much. I had this, listening to you there with the situation, obviously you lost your brother. My oldest brother, which I've never really shared with anybody, my oldest brother he was addicted to drugs for years. It was incredible the effect it had on my family, Boydie, Henrik. It was massive. And we were for the streets of Glasgow. My brother's my best mate. My brother left a suicide note when I was like 12-year-old, and this was when I was just going into to learn from 13 to 16, Boydie, about how to play. So I had this all in my mind. But now my brother's 18, maybe 20 years off of drugs, and it's a situation where he went and got help because he wanted it. It was him inside. It was nothing to do with anybody else. He wanted to do it for him. So obviously, hearing the two of you on that side, it's one thing here or there that's a difference that can affect a full family. So I understand exactly where the both of you are coming from. It's so difficult. But the most important thing you said there, Henrik, was brilliant. Go and speak to people. That's the message we get. And Boydie, you're right. You actually do need to go and speak to someone. I've been saying that to you for a long time, mate.
No, I know, and it's something that I need to. I've always said it. I need to, because my other wee brother and sister and my mum and dad, they went and spoke to someone, and I just feel as if you know what it's like. You always think, I'll go, and I've found comfort. What would you say? Being that third person as such, speaking to psychologists, but I'm actually speaking about me, but I'm actually playing a game and saying, oh, so and so was saying to me, do you know what I mean? And I should maybe just go and sit down with someone and try and sort it for there. But no, it's great words there, Henrik, and I think that anybody watching the show can relate to maybe people that's been struggling and want to open up and get help. So fantastic words there, and I'm sure once this goes out, it'll be a powerful message for a lot of people that go and speak to someone and we can seek the right professional help. We always finish in a little bit of a not a high, but who out your former manager and teammate would you most like to have spent lockdown with?
Do I have to pick a manager or a player or one of each?
One of each, please, if you don't mind.
Lockdown or on an island. Well, I would say Chris Sutton. He's funny. He has a dry sense of humor, but he's so hilarious. And I would love to share an island with him. And a manager, I'm not too sure about that. Who am I going to pick? I would go for Wim Jansen. Just because the way he is and the way he is passionate about the football and very rarely get angry. So that's good.
By the way, this must be the only platform that Chris Sutton's loved on at this moment in time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow. I know where I have him, so I know how he is and what he's doing. So I enjoy it.
Henrik, the what we obviously finish off, as Chris says there, is we want to try and get your hobbies. What is it? I know you spoke about Michael Jordan and how much he was an inspiration to you, but you like golf. Is there any favourite courses? Is golf better than basketball, or is it Henrik Larsson?
Well, yeah. Every day of the week, I would put golf before the basket. Yeah, without a doubt. Favorite courses where in the world, or in Scotland, or in Sweden, or where?
Yeah, well, listen. In Scotland, the Scottish viewers will be happy to know they played the same course as Henrik Larsson. So what courses in Scotland?
Well, I love Glen Eagles. All three courses are nice, fantastic. I played. I would go for Glen Eagles. I love that course up there. Good food and good beverage after the game of golf as well.
Don't say food. This belly's rumbling. We'll get him off again. Henrik, who's your favourite golfer just now?
Favorite golfer? I watch it, but I don't think there is. My favorite one was Tiger Woods. Obviously, he was in his prime back in the days, and he has changed the game of golf completely. But Dustin Johnson, Koepka, all great. Hit the balls for miles. Deschambeau as well. Favorite one? I have to take somebody with a little bit of touch. No, I'll still go for Tiger.
Tiger it is then. Tiger. Well, this is Robert's favourite part of the programme.
Yeah,
podcast. Sorry, this bit coming here. He loves this one. On you go, Snods.
Well, Henrik, the last one is. Can we get an exclusive here at the podcast? Henrik Larsson's best five-a-side team, including international, Celtic, all the clubs you've been at. Your best five-a-side team.
Best five-a-side team. I have to take a goalkeeper. Which one should I go for? I would go for Victor Valdes in goal. And now I'm going to put them out of position because, Chris Sutton has to be in there. I say Ronaldinho has to be in there. Cristiano has to be in there. Leo Messi has to be in there.
Snoddy, we shouldn't have asked this. It's just.
But then I forgot players like you have
Henrik, let's get this correct. So we're going with So we're going with Xavi, Cristiano, Messi, and Chris Sutton.
Yeah, 4 strikers.
4 strikers.
You know how important that is to play with a good strike partner, mate. You know, that's how we
I know that. I appreciate it. And to be fair, I will say it, and this is probably the first time I'll ever. He gets on and he rubs a lot of people up the wrong way, Chris Sutton, but what a player he was. He could play football. He was brilliant. So intelligent. And I think you can always tell, and it's when you finish your career and you look back and when you can start to move about positions, and that's what Chris did. He moved from, he could play centre midfield, he could play centre half. He was a really, really good player.
Yeah, he was a fantastic player and a great strike partner, and is a good friend still to this day. So that's good. Yeah.
Well, Henrik, it has been unbelievable having you on. I've thoroughly enjoyed the full show. The insight to your football career, but also, the suffering the heartache as well. Your brother and the powerful message you've sent out there. For everybody else who might be struggling to go and actually speak and seek help professionally. And as you said, if you can't afford that, then make sure you speak to someone, because that is the only way that you can start to get better. So it's been unbelievable having you on. I've thoroughly enjoyed the last hour. And who would ever have thought it, Snoddy, that I would have sat here with a Celtic legend and actually enjoyed myself? Yeah.
Yeah. And who would have thought that I would be on a podcast with you on it as well?
I know. Yeah, by the way, you're right. What?
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much.
With everything.
Thank you and appreciate it. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Boydy, whoa. That's all I'm going to say, mate. Whoa. That was... I love that. Honestly, this is the reason why, Boydy, we set this podcast up, to get probably one of the greatest players that's ever played for Celtic. And I'm throwing it out there at the start. He is the greatest. He was, through my generation, everybody watching him from my era, he was the King of Kings. How was that? Boydy, he's sitting on there, he's speaking about his career, but the time he took to give you advice on, obviously, a couple of things that's, been on your mind to maybe go and push, but do you think that's the push, Boy, that you've probably needed?
No, I think the biggest thing for me would be, Snoddy, that the way he spoke, it was a different side to what we've seen HENRIK Larsson over the years. The way he went in depth with everything, and for me personally, for him to take some comfort from going and speaking to someone, then it's maybe time that I went and done the same. And I think that, but also for yourself as well. The 2 years I've lost brothers. For you to come in with your piece at the end as well and explain everything regarding it, it was just as powerful a 10 minutes for me that you will ever get, and take away the football side of it. It was unbelievable, and brilliant that you actually sorted that, Snoddy. It will be the push that I needed to actually go and sit down with somebody and actually get maybe the things that has been eating away at me off my chest.
Boydy, see when you're saying that there, and it's the reason why we started it. What I want to say to the people listening: share this podcast, share it to your friends, share it to your family, because messages like that for HENRIK Larsson, for yourself, who's just at the edge to maybe go and speak to people, share it, because this is what the podcast is all about. These are the messages we want to create within the podcast. We've got one of the best ever opening up and talking about it. So do you know what? If it's stuff like that, Boydy, honestly, it's made me so happy. Not just for his talk about his career, but to go in depth with something like that, it's brilliant.
The thing, Snoddy, that struck home with me was that we're probably getting to the stage now where we're starting to come out of lockdown. And there will be a lot of problems for people going forward. There'll be a lot of people who lose their jobs. And now might be the time to actually sit down as a family and say, we might need to stop spending here. We might need to start doing this more. We might, to help each other. It might be a case if you're struggling, listen, we need to go and speak to someone to seek you right. But, what might be a small problem right now can be addressed before it becomes a big problem. And then, there's other consequences that the other side of that. So anybody that's watching this, if you've got little things that are eating away, you're starting to eat away, go and speak to someone. Go and tackle it right now before it does become, a big problem. But listen, it was an unbelievable podcast. As I said, I've never heard Henrik Larsson speak like that before. And remember, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And once again, a fantastic episode here at the Lockdown Tactics podcast. We told you we'd bring you the big names, the big stories, a bit of fun. But this one was more than a bit of fun. There was a real powerful mental health message behind it. So for everybody listening, take care and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.